Welcome back. We're so glad to have you back with us. And now I have another guest, and I have Max Miller-Hooks. And Max is with UM3. It's an organization that I'm not that familiar with, so we'll learn everything about UM3 together. So Max, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
And good evening, and we're so glad to have you with us.
Thank you.
When I heard about you and Catalina, by the way, and you were recommended for the show, they said, I was told this would be a great addition to the show. So I wanted to have you here, and I need to find out more about what's going on.
Well, first,
and who you are, and just everything about you.
Well, first, I'm definitely honored to be here. So
glad to have you.
Hopefully all good things that they said.
Oh, great. Okay.
Well, I would say the reason why we came here to Pahrump, we're from Las Vegas. I've been in Las Vegas for about 25 years.
Okay.
I moved to Las Vegas permanently about 20 years ago. I'm actually 41. I turned 21 here, so I know
just
for
a young man.
Fact that I've been here at least 20. But I went to J.D. Smith Junior High School, El Dorado, Rancho.
Okay.
And moved away for a while, but Vegas was home.
Okay.
So the one thing that I brought with me was two things: entrepreneurial skills and my love for the community. So when I came back to Vegas, those are the two things that I pursued. I pursued creating businesses. I'm not a very creative person in the sense if you give me a paintbrush and a pencil, yeah, you tell me not to quit my day job.
Okay.
But you know, concepts and things like that, I've been pretty good at.
Oh, that's fantastic. Now, when I first heard about it, it said UM3, and I was wondering, what is UM3? And how did that name come about?
I'd say probably about 4 years ago.
Okay.
I've been involved in the community for quite a while. I've sat
now,
in the
when you
game
say
task
community,
force.
you're talking about
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, and soon you also
Pahrump,
got to
yes, sir.
Pahrump.
And when I say community, I actually don't mean any particular place.
Okay.
You know, I mean with people.
Okay.
You know, like when I say community, I mean I've been involved with people for a very long time.
I like that. Okay.
Yeah, not geographically, but more demographically speaking. So I've done things like co-chaired the community, the subcommittee of the Community Gang Task Force in Las Vegas. Plenty of nonprofits that I've sat upon the board. A lot of collaborations. Quite a few schools we've either partnered with or have, you know, kind of been their go-to when they need books, backpacks, things of that nature.
So fundraising for school events, okay.
But not just not anything in particular. And I think people would think that I would have like severe ADHD because I can't keep myself still or focused on one thing, you know. But I actually find it, for myself, I find it an asset because what it allows me to do, it allows me to utilize resources. So since I know I'm built a certain way, I have to live a life a certain way.
Okay.
So I can't do anything like this without collaboration. So we have tons of organizations and other businesses that we partner with to do a lot of these things. I mean, some of the things that we've done in the past was we did a beautification project, 88.1, the West Side School, our organization and a number of other organizations completely rehabbed it, painted it, beautified it. Did neighborhood cleanup. We had about 144 volunteers. So our track record, our community track record, the one thing that somebody taught me a long time ago is if you do have an ego, have an ego that comes from accomplishments.
I like that. Okay.
And so I will say that keeping involved in the community, I have a really big ego over because it's something that is near and dear to my heart, and it's something that I take extremely seriously.
And that's what we do in Pahrump. And we have so many people that volunteer in our community and do so many things. And when I heard some of the things that you're doing, that's why we wanted you on the show. I think so that you could tell. Now this is just not Pahrump. This is Nye County.
Sure.
And that's why we call it Nye County. Of course, Pahrump is the largest community in that. But when people are listening to this, we want to know how you're going to impact Pahrump and Nye County?
Yes, sir. So one thing, UM3 stands for Uncle Max. So that was a nickname that I had taken on quite a long time ago because you're always involved in people's lives.
Okay.
So I've always been too young to take in like grandpa or, anything like that. So I've inherited the name Uncle Max, and that's how.
Okay.
So how we got involved with Pahrump, I noticed usually when a person has a need, the first thing that we do as humans, we want to give. Yes. But we want to give the way that we want to give and not give in a way that they need whatever resources they need. We're always trying to push things onto people. So when Catalina and we came to Pahrump officially, we sat and we talked with commissioners. We've talked with people at the Nye County Coalition, just a bunch of different people.
Okay.
And to see what the town of Pahrump needed versus what our vision is, because our vision is quite simple. We believe that everybody deserves to have dignity.
Okay.
Everybody deserves to receive love. Those are basic human elements, fundamentals that I think everyone should receive. And so you ask, how do you couple that with business? Well, I tell, one of the philosophies I live by, I'm not a real emotional person. I'm not emotionally driven. My emotions get me to the point of action. Okay. You see somebody who is homeless. Yeah, you should have an emotional reaction. But once it has brought you to a call to action, then hopefully, like logic and some other things start to settle in with you, so you make good decisions. Okay. Especially dealing with other people. So when we came here, the one thing that I knew about Pahrump is that the economic development side of Pahrump has been stagnant for a very long time. And it's not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just kind of what is. Because businesses coming in and out of town, where do you guys garner, like your center block of money that can be tapped in for tax revenue for the county? So there's a lot of things like that came into consideration. But one of the biggest things is what we can do that would benefit not just not from just giving people something, but that they can work for. So one of the good things that we're capable of doing is creating environments in which people can come to work. So I know this sounds strange because most time when people think of entrepreneurship, it's getting the most from something and giving the least. Yeah. And that's not our philosophy. So when we met with Pam, one of the first things that we talked about is how we plan to
Talk about Pam Webster?
Yes, sir.
County manager.
I'm sorry, yeah, county manager. Yes, sir. Is how do we keep the money that we make into the town of Pahrump because we don't live here. Okay. So that's what happens. Pahrump has been pillaged for many years. Yes. Where companies come in and they especially in the industry of mental health, well, they'll come in and, provide, and I'm not here to say who provides good services or not. Okay. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to tell you what we're going to do. Okay. And our vision.
And so that's what I want to hear.
Yeah, so the one thing that I do know is that fortunately that industry, it pays well. It really does. Okay. And it pays well, and by it paying well, you should have adequate providers to provide those services. So not only should you have adequate providers to provide those services, companies like mine, and we own a couple of different companies under our umbrella, and we have other partner companies that want to participate in Pahrump, and at the same time, because I try to tell people, like, if you're trying to be rich or you're trying to make some money for yourself, you ain't got to make all that money off the back of one person or two people.
Spread it out.
Spread it out. So when with us coming here, it isn't like, okay, well, we plan to get rich off of Pahrump. In fact, what we're going to do is the money that we make, we're not gonna just take the cash out of our pockets and say, here you go, community. What we'll do is we'll develop businesses, whether it be like small sandwich shops or whatever we have to do to put that money back into the community. Because the one thing also too that I've learned about people, men, women, they want to work.
Yes.
So putting people in a situation where they can work provides dignity. And I think you're going to hear me say that in quite a bit, because that is just something that I believe in, because we're all human. Doesn't matter if you're rich, doesn't matter if you're poor. I play a lot of basketball, and I've played a lot of basketball over the course of my life. And I can tell you, being on the basketball court with doctors, lawyers, NBA players, been to the Philippines and played. I mean, I've had an extensive life that's centered around basketball, but what I love about it is that you have no idea who you're playing with. It's
Sure.
like a completely even playing field,
Yep.
you know, and the relationships that you garner from, you know, from that environment, it's the same. But the one thing that it has taught me is that you always are respectful and that everybody deserves dignity. So whether it be a veteran who is homeless or, you know, lives in the Taj Mahal, they still
Okay.
deserve the same amount of dignity. Not one
Absolutely.
person's more important than the other. So that's part of our philosophy. So the give back, the pay it forward aspect of what we do is just really centered around, I don't want to give it to you. I've tried that for many years, just the give part of it. And I haven't felt for us that was the right thing for us to do, because our what we bring to the table is a little different. We'll leave that for nonprofit organizations.
Okay.
So for us, we're like, oh, okay, well, work seems to be, you know, high on everybody's radar. Being healthy, having a good mental health is high on everybody's radar.
Yes.
So just marrying the two. So in a nutshell, we're going to utilize part of the proceeds that we make here in that arena, and we're going to put it right back into the community as far as business development.
Okay.
Just simple.
I like what I'm hearing about letting people go to work, but one of the problems we have in Pahrump and Nye County, but primarily in Pahrump, is transportation.
Sure.
And so I know we're running out of time in this segment, but we're going to be talking next segment, and I'm going to be asking, how are you working with transportation to make sure people have a way to get to work?
Sure.
You know, if you have all the jobs and nobody can get there because they have to walk in the heat that we have or anything else. So we need good transportation, but there's so many other things that we need to talk about, and we're not going to have enough time to cover all the things we want.
Yes, sir.
That's one of these unfortunate things of having a time limit, but Max is going to be back in our next segment. He's going to tell us a lot of things that they're trying to create here in Pahrump. So we want you to come back, write down stuff, and call him if you need to.